Hello, friends. Good evening to everyone. I'm Dr. Dipti Patil and will be hosting today's event. On behalf of Mr. Chandrakant Sarunkhe, founder and president, SME Chamber of India and Maharashtra Industry Development Association, I would like to welcome you all to this panel discussion on SMEs, India's growth engine. Theme: Strategies and Initiatives for Sustainable Growth. The event is jointly organized with Mahindra World City and Origins by Mahindra. Mahindra Life Spaces is a real estate arm of the Mahindra Group for the last 27 years. They have been pioneers for the development of the industrial parks and residential projects. With industrial parks across three cities, Mahindra has ongoing and forthcoming projects spread over 5,000 acres. About Chamber. SME Chamber of India is started by Mr. Chandrakant Sarunkhe, who is the founder and president of SME Chamber of India. SME Chamber is a leading organization and providing support services for the last 30 years to the manufacturers, SMEs, exporters, service providers, mid corporates, startups, allied industrial and business sectors for their business growth and export promotion. The Chamber is also supporting for the procurement, channelizing finance and investment, branding and marketing, import facilitation, setting up new manufacturing units, identifying partners for the joint ventures, technology transfer, collaboration, contract manufacturing, mergers and acquisition, distribution, identifying advanced and patented technologies, establishing strategic business tie ups and alliances with the Indian and overseas companies. Now, I would like to invite Mr. S. Mahesh Kumar, Director, SME Chamber of India, for the introductory address. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, friends. It's a pleasure to be with you all for this important event, SMEs India's Growth Engine, and to be a part of this August audience with distinguished speakers and delegates. As you are aware, small and medium-sized enterprises plays a very critical role in the overall development of our India's growth, and they drive economic growth, create jobs, and promote innovation. They are the backbone of our economy and can contribute significantly to our GDP. To strengthen our SME sector and transfer them into medium and large corporates, we must focus on developing our manufacturing infrastructure and technology, as they are the key drivers for the growth and competitiveness. We need to have the better infrastructure, manufacturing amenities, roads, railways, ports, and ensure that our telecommunications are reliable and efficient. We must also leverage the benefits of technology to improve our productivity, efficiency, and competitiveness. This includes adopting innovation, business model, digital technologies, and new manufacturing techniques. Finally, we need to ensure that SMEs can take full advantage of tax benefits and incentives to grow and expand their businesses. We must create an enabling environment to SMEs to thrive and require a collaborative effort from all the stakeholders. I welcome all the dignitaries, all the delegates for this August gathering. Now I will invite the dignitaries on the dais. Mr. Rajaram Pai, Chief Business Officer, Mahindra Lifespace Developers. I'll request Mr. Chandrakant Salunkhe, Founder and President, SME Chamber of India and Maharashtra Industry Development Association. I request Mr. Govind Ojha, Deputy CEO, Wipro Pari Private Limited. Sir, please take a seat on dais. I request Mr. Bhavesh Thakkar, Partner, EY India Tax and Regulatory Services Partner. Please take a seat on dais, sir. And we are expecting Ms. Ute, Deputy Director General, Head of the DE International Services, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. She is little bit delayed. So Further, I'll request Mr. Chandrakant Salunke, founder and president, SME Chamber of India and Maharashtra Industry Development Association, to speak on emerging opportunities for manufacturing and the SME sector. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mahesh Kumar. Good evening, friends. Since this is a event organized with the Mahindra and Mahindra, let me call you all heroes. Why I'm calling heroes? Can you tell someone here? Anyone is reading LinkedIn account or Twitter today or yesterday? Have you gone through anyone? Mr. Anand Mahindra said, why we will call the actors heroes? We should call them entertainer. And we should call heroes the entrepreneur, those are putting effort. So we should give a big hand to all the heroes present today. So heroes from the industry, heroes from the manufacturing industry, heroes from the SME sector. To begin with this panel discussion, particularly on the SMEs, the India's growth engine, strategy and initiatives for the sustainable growth, jointly with Mahindra World City, we call it the Origins by Mahindra. And it's my immense pleasure to welcome you all. Special welcome to Raja Rampaiji for joining hands with us to share his views, particularly for the benefit of SME sector. My friend Govindji, and very active, very successful entrepreneur, successful mentor, and successful, the other friend we can say, who is had been in this field and supporting many entrepreneurs to achieve success. Of course, Bhavesh is here to give you insight about particularly how the policy, how the advantages and the benefits, and mostly what government is coming out with the beneficial to your SME sector. And we are waiting for the madam from um, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. So meanwhile, we'll start our discussion, we'll start our thought process. Friends, SME sector is playing very important role. I know one entrepreneur, particularly from manufacturing industry, plays more than at least 42 roles per day. And I should thanks to Anand Mahendra. I'm going to write tomorrow that really our SMEs or our entrepreneurs are heroes because you are generating employment. Along with that, you are generating entrepreneurship also. You are generating confidence amongst your partners, your friends, your fellows. And mostly I observed that you are teaching, guiding your suppliers also. Even I had seen a lot of buyers given the advice by the manufacturers, suppliers, कि आप ऐसे मत प्रोडक्ट लीजिए, थोड़ा ऐसा लीजिए, इससे आपको अच्छा रहेगा, इससे अच्छा बेनिफिट होगा. आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे पुण्यामधले असल्यामुळे सर्वसाधारणपणे मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री पुण्यातली जी आज वाढत चाललेली आहे किंवा पुण्यामध्ये तुम्ही तर अक्षरशः गोल्ड माइनवर आहात. कारण परदेशातनं कुठली इंडस्ट्री आली तर पहिल्यांदा पुणे, नंतर मग तामिळनाडू, नंतर मग जाते कुठे आंध्र प्रदेश किंवा मग राजस्थान असो किंवा गुजरात. म्हणजे पुणे इज अ नाव मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग हब. So we have decided to invite you, to interact with you, to understand your requirements. Particularly when we enhance our manufacturing activities, we need what? Industrial land. We need a affordable industrial land. We need a ready-made industrial premises because entrepreneur will not wait for 3-4 years. कब कंस्ट्रक्शन करोगे, कब परमिशन मिलेगा, कब हमें उसका अप्रूवल मिलेगा. 1996, I was on one of the advisory board of Maharashtra government, and that time we had a meeting with the MIDC CEO. MIDC CEO that time, Mr. Dhumal was there, and I said, Mr. Dhumal, if I'm buying a land in MIDC, I had to go for 7 to 8 agencies for taking NOCs. So similarly, our entrepreneurs also facing problem to get the approvals and this thing. Why we should come out with some mechanism where we can provide a support to the entrepreneurs to reduce the time limit, reduce the wastage of the time, and they will get. So this is a good idea. Then they created one booklet. All NOCs want to. And after that, I met the Chief Secretary of Maharashtra, Mr. Ranganathan. And I suggested, why not, sir? We can plan one window system. So after 1 week, he organized meeting with all secretaries, all department secretaries. Those are involved and those are related to the industry. He said, one window system means not to be act like हमारे entrepreneur जाएंगे सब बाजू से एनओसी लाएंगे एक खिड़की में डाल देंगे. You understand? No, they will bring NOCs from other places and they will put in a one window. One window system means every entrepreneur, every applicant should get the approval from that one window. He will put his application and he will get the approval. So this way we have, we want mechanism. Yeah, I'd been to China, I'd been to Korea, I'd been to many SEZs or particularly industrial parks. I had seen all the facility. Even China near Shanghai, there is a Suzhou name of the city. The deputy mayor started showing me around that what kind of industrial growth is happening, what kind of industry is there. Mr. Prabhakar Salunke, for your information, he has shown me one plot, demarket plots. I said, what? 4 boxes are there. Everywhere I have seen 4 boxes. Each plot, 2 acre plot, they said one is a water connection, one is a gas connection, one is a drainage connection, one is everything is here. You just come and start your construction and use your this. Even Gonzao, when I visited the one expo and I asked the local authority that I want to see the industrial zone here. They said, we will take you the first. They took me from train and around 30 minutes after travel, I saw that there is open land. But metro train is going there. But there is nothing. But now you'll see all industrialized, all residential area. So all this development happen. So we want that mechanism in Maharashtra, particularly India, wherever our SME entrepreneurs, forget about big company. Big company can do manage, they can do it. But SMEs, those are having manufacturing industry, those who want to set up manufacturing industry. My friend Karthik is here. He has manufacturing in Mumbai as well as in Coimbatore. So he is finding difference between both the states also. So the point is how we will put efforts, how we'll give the level playing field to our SME entrepreneurs where they can develop more manufacturing unit, they can expand their activities. Rather, we have started also SME industrial parks of India, where we are supporting SMEs to identify land, to identify the ready-made industrial premises. Even foreign companies are looking joint venture. We are getting a lot of inquiries, particularly those companies are having the additional industrial area which you are not using, or you have a quality infrastructure where you are doing manufacturing. So that opportunity is also available there. So friends, strategies are there, initiatives are there, rather schemes are there, facilities are there. Only how to take advantage. That is the most important. How many entrepreneurs sitting here, they are aware of 100% policies, 100% benefits? Can you raise hand? MIDC is giving free land. Are you aware about it? Free land for manufacturing. कोई है पता है आपको कहाँ दे रहे? So give a big hand. I welcome the Ms. Utay Brockman. So the point is, yesterday I was sitting with the secretary MSME. He said our entrepreneurs should aware about on their website everything is mentioned. And second thing, how to take advantage. That is also most important. So Bhavesh, you can give an insight on that. How we can take advantage. How we can learn. Other SME Chamber of India or Maharashtra Industry Development Association will help you to get the benefit for that. But nevertheless, we have to put efforts. Mr. Narendra Modi is not going to achieve the $5 trillion economy. Our heroes are going to do it. Mr. Shinde is not going to do it. Employment generation, we are going to do it. So therefore, we have to focus and we want level playing field. How many people are facing the issues and problems? How many times you are returned to the Maharashtra government, particularly for ease of doing business? You should send a suggestion, recommendation every day, every time to the government. If government is not listening to, we are there. We can support you. Send me a proper, your suggestion, your issues, and recommendation, we can send to the concerned department. So, friends, let us take advantage of today's evening, and I'm sure that your suggestions, your questions, your some critical points will be beneficial for us when we discuss with the top level officers or ministers, because we want to create a level playing field. It is not only for German companies or Italian companies or foreign companies. It should be available for Indian companies. It should be available for local companies. So this is a point. That's why Mahindra is putting efforts. Mahindra has started manufacturing. They have started this industrial land. Why industrial park? Why? To provide you support. When I entered in first time during my school time, 1977, Mahindra plant in Kandivli. So my father was supplying packaging material to them. I had seen the factory, and I seen the many entrepreneurs. Those are coming there to learn. The engineers from that area are teaching to the entrepreneurs, particularly how to make product, how to improve your quality. So take advantage of the large corporate, take advantage of the support, and hope that this discussion will be beneficial. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Rajaram Pai, Chief Business Officer, Mahindra Lifespace Developers, to give the presentation on Expand Your Horizon with Mahindra Lifespace. Over to you, sir.
Very warm welcome to all of the members of SME, and thank you so much, Ramkeji. I think you've been a big supporter of growth here in this region. And I come here as not to talk about Mahindra, but also to learn from each of you all, because as Mr. Mahindra said, that all of you all are heroes, and we are here to actually support you in your journey as you grow. When we look at these statistics, it came as a pleasant surprise to know that you all actually contribute 33% of the GDP, and that's significant, right? I don't think we can think of large corporates, which in itself can contribute to that kind of an impact. Mahindra is a very diversified group, and the Mahindra Life Spaces, I do not know how much you all know about it, but that's a real estate arm of Mahindra's. We have been here for a very long time. We're doing a lot of residential development, especially in Pune. So Pune and some of our members who are based here, they would endorse the fact that we're coming up with some very exciting developments in Pune itself. Besides, we have footprints in other places, but that's on the residential side. I represent the industrial part of the business. And when you talk about industrial, and the natural connection is what do we do in industrial from a life space perspective? So we have currently 4 parks which are operational. We have it in 2 formats. One is called the World City format, which is industrial plus social plus commercial plus residential. It's all integrated. The first one which we came up with was in Chennai, about a 1,500-acre development. And that is an iconic development with the participation of TIDCO. The second one that we came up with was in Jaipur. That's spread over 3,000 acres. We have a new one that is in Ahmedabad. And Salungi, and to all of you all, happy to tell you that we are also aggregating land in Bhor, which is very close to where you are. And we are looking at working very closely with each one of you and taking inputs from each one of you as to what can we incorporate into this industrial park, which is not very far from here. I know that there is a lot of learning that each one of you all would have had from your individual experiences at industrial parks. But let me assure you, when you come into a Mahindra industrial park, it carries the big brand name of Mahindra, right? So it is just not Mr. Anand Mahindra saying something, but in each one of us, you would find that there is a very strong Mahindra promise, right? So when we tell you that it is coming with clear land titles, there is going to be water, there's going to be electricity, there is hand holding, we actually do it. And I think one of the key things here is that the endorsement by more than 200 companies across 3 of our locations, 3 of our parks, are spread across about 20 different sectors, is definitely a big moment for us when we sit back and look at all the development that we have done. So when we look at the countries here, we would see a large participation across countries. And Ute, just to let you know that we have some of the largest German companies at our world cities, right? So we have BMW, If it's the only place in India that they make the cars in, we have BASF, we have Fackelmann, we have B Braun, some of the very iconic German names. But apart and outside of that, we have a very large presence of SME companies, right? If you look at Jaipur, for example, we have more than 60% of the companies which are there in our world city represented from SMEs, right? So when we look at world city, it's just not about the sophistication of saying it's a world city, but the fact is that we cater to both large as well as medium size as well as small companies, and we kind of address them, and we extend the same level of support, whether it's a BMW or it's a small company like a NetPro or Jaipur Crafts. It is the same promise of Mahindras that comes over to you. This is just an illustrative case study, just to kind of tell you that when you have a large company, and this is taking the case of BMW and JCB. BMW is in World City in Chennai, and JCB is in World City in Jaipur. You find that there is a lot of companies that are associated with these large brands that also follow suit, right? So if you look at, say, Force Motors, which has a large presence in Pune, they're at our park, right, supplying parts to BMW. Or if you look at Lear Corporation, or if you look at Magna, or look at JCB. And just a short while ago, Salunki was also talking about packaging, right? We're definitely open to the entire concept of having a cluster for SMEs, whether it's in Jaipur or in Chennai or in Bhor when it ultimately comes up. We can all actually customize it in terms of having a cluster. Maybe it's a 1 acre or a little more than a 1 acre kind of a set of plots, provided uh, you know, for the convenience for manufacturing. We understand that there is a requirement, and we want to give you that experience of coming into a Mahindra park, right? So this is just a snapshot of the companies which are there. So you have almost the who's who of Indian as well as the multinationals which are present at the park, right? And this actually spreads across manufacturing, services, and you name it, and it's also there. So whether it's a Wipro, Infosys, including an Amazon delivery, Flipkart, they're having very large warehouses. Plus, we are also now getting into BTS, wherein we actually construct, and we also extend that to companies that would like to go asset light. So we have also got a platform with Actus for providing this kind of services. So we are looking at different models in being able to extend that make in India and the made in India to all of y'all and all of us partners in this journey of making sure that we hit the 5 trillion economy, right? So this is just a snapshot of some of the companies which are there. So you would see, a lot of green, a lot of sustainability-driven initiatives. It's a great experience. I invite, whoever it is, either visiting Jaipur, Chennai, or Ahmedabad, to please come in and spend some time. It's a little away from the city, which gives us the advantage that it is closer to the national highway, so connectivity is fantastic. Just to kind of absorb what a well-developed, high-quality, world-class facility looks like. All right. So, like I was saying, my colleagues are here from Jaipur and Chennai, as well as the team from Pune. Please interact with them. Please share your thoughts. And I look forward to connecting with some of you, if not many of you, today. So, thank you very much. And secondly, thank you very much to Salunki ji and the SME Chamber of Commerce. I think this is a great platform. We look forward to partnering with you for more such events, under your leadership, and I'm sure that we can do a lot. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Govind Oza, Deputy CEO, Wipro Pari Private Limited, to speak on how to scale up your SME business to a large corporate. Over to you, sir.
तर इथं बरेच लोक मराठीत हिंदी इंग्लिशमध्ये बोलणारे आहेत. फायनली काय बोलतो हे कळलं पाहिजे, हा एक मुद्दा आहे, राईट? आणि तो ॲब्सॉर्ब केला पाहिजे. साहेबांनी फार कमी टाईम दिलेला आहे, पण त्यात जे पॉसिबल आहे, वॉट एव्हर इज अ पॉसिबल फॉर मी टू कन्वे हाऊ आय एम डुईंग ॲक्टिव्हिटी, so I can convey to you, because I am looking after the mostly business development activity of Pari, Wipro Pari now. Now is a Wipro Pari. I am also an entrepreneur. We are started our company in 90s. Our turnover is $500, just $500 per annum, and now we reach near about $300 million. So that is a that is we are seen. You are seen on the screen. We are working in lot of countries. Mostly our 70 to 75% business we are doing in Western countries like European countries as well as US. मराठीत बोललं तरी चालेल ना? हा? अँड ऑल्सो इन आणि जर्मनीमध्ये सुद्धा ओके इन इन हा नाही नाही मग इंग्लिशमध्ये बोलतो. So in Germany also we take over one company recently 6 months back, and we want to expand in Germany. If we can get support from embassy for the visas and everything, then definitely we are going to increase and expand our business in Germany, and for that lot of embassies are supporting us, and embassy role is much more. Maybe I can give us some examples on that. And we are working in Turkey, we are in Southeast Asia, we are in lot of this one. So I'm just टेलिंग यू, मला बिझनेस करताना जे 30 वर्षात एक्सपिरियन्स आलेला आहे. आय नॉट फॉलो गुगल, आय नॉट फॉलो, मी एकही कुठल्याही मीटिंग अटेंड केलेल्या नाहीत किंवा कुठेही शिकायला गेलेलो नाही. राईट, मी माझ्या एक्सपिरियन्स प्रमाणे जे काही केलेलं आहे त्यातल्या 2-3 गोष्टी फक्त तुम्हाला सांगतो की बिझनेसमध्ये करताना मी काय करतो. मी असं म्हणत नाही की मी करतो ते तुम्ही फॉलो करा. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन यू. तुम्हाला पटलं तर फॉलो करा. बिझनेसमध्ये काय लागतं? पहिला इज विजन, right? Second is a strategy, and third one is a discipline. I follow only the 3 criteria. Whenever we do any growth in the company, त्यावेळेला आम्ही एकच बघतो, एक तर ड्रीम पाहतो, त्यानंतर ते ड्रीम पूर्ण करण्यासाठी लागणारी स्ट्रॅटेजी, आणि ती स्ट्रॅटेजी कंप्लीट करण्यासाठी जे काय लागतं ते डिसिप्लिन आम्ही फॉलो करतो. आता जर बघायला गेलं तर आमचं पूर्वी सर्वांना माहित आहे आमची पारी होती, आता विप्रो पारी झाली. रिझन एकच होतं की आम्ही ज्यावेळी पारी चालू केली होती, ज्यावेळेला $500 टर्नओव्हर होता, त्याच वेळेला आम्ही विचार केला होता की वी कॅन गो इन द वर्ल्ड फर्स्ट 10 कंपनीज इन आवर एरिया. तर हा ड्रीम कंप्लीट करण्यासाठी यू आर फेसिंग ऑल्सो प्रॉब्लेम, फायनान्स अँड ऑल दिस थिंग. दॅट सेम प्रॉब्लेम वी आर फेसिंग टू ग्रो, अँड वय वाढत चाललेलं आहे. आपल्या ह्या जनरेशनमध्येच ते करायचं होतं, कारण ड्रीम आमचं होतं, नॉट टू अवर नेक्स्ट जनरेशन अँड समथिंग. त्यासाठी आम्हाला विप्रोची हेल्प मिळाली, अँड नाऊ इज द कंपनी नेम इज विप्रो पारी. तर ते विजन आहे. त्यासाठी विजन आम्ही बघितलं की आम्ही जगातल्या पहिल्या 10 मध्ये जाणार, आणि त्यासाठी आता स्ट्रॅटेजी वर्कआउट करतोय आणि त्याच्यावर काम करतोय. सो देअर इज नो डिफरन्स इन यू अँड अस. इवन दो 300 गेलं, 350 गेलं यावर्षी, तरी आवर टार्गेट इज नियर अबाउट वी कॅन रीच $3 billion as much as possible, as early as possible. आणि ते करण्यासाठी मग देन डिसिप्लिन इज द फॅक्टर. सो आय एम नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस मच मोर ऑन दिस. सेकंड पॉइंट, ॲज पर मी, कुठलाही बिझनेस कुठल्याही कंट्रीमध्ये करताना किंवा कुठलाही जॉग्राफिकल एक्सपान्शन करताना आपला बिझनेस पहिला रोबोट जर नसेल, तर आपण पुढे एक्सपान्शन करायला लागलो तर जसं होतं की पुढे चाललेलो आहे आणि मागे शेपटी निघत चाललेली आहे. त्यामुळे रोबस बिझनेस जर करायचा असेल आणि रोबस बिझनेस असेल तर आय फॉलो ओनली दिस 10 स्टेप्स. ह्याच्यावर मी अख्खा दिवसभर बोलू शकतो की हे 10 स्टेप्स कुठल्या कुठले आहेत, पण आता दिलेल्या टाइममध्ये एवढं बोलता येत नाही. पण मला एक कॉन्फिडन्स आहे की वेन एव्हर वी डू फॉर एनी न्यू एक्सपान्शन, आय एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द एक्सपान्शन ॲज अ जॉग्राफिकल एक्सपान्शन ओनली. आय एम सेइंग अबाउट on the basis of new business development activity or new product when we are launching, we are taking consideration of this all the activity, including geographically shifting also. Whenever we start the business and all this thing, we are checking all these things, right? And up till now we got good success in this with robust. म्हणजे पुढे गेलेलो आहे आणि मागचं सपाट झालेलं आहे अशातली गोष्ट अजूनपर्यंत घडलेली नाही, बिकॉज ऑफ वी फॉलो दिस 10 स्टेप्स. आणि ह्या 10 स्टेपमधनं मला एक स्वतःला एक कॉन्फिडन्स आलेला आहे 30 वर्षाच्या एक्सपिरियन्समध्ये की ह्या जर 10 स्टेप्स फॉलो केल्या तर डेफिनेटली त्याच्यामध्ये रिझल्ट येतो. इवन दो दिस इज फॉर द SME आहात तुम्ही, दिस इज आय एम टेलिंग टू एनी न्यू एंटरप्रिनर ऑल्सो की ज्याला नवीन चालू करायचं आहे, नवीन काहीतरी करायचं आहे त्यांना सुद्धा हे सांगतो की हे तुम्ही जर केलं, ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टीवर स्टडी केला तर तुमचा बिझनेस फेल होण्याचा चान्सच नाही, असं मी क्लेम करतोय. बाकी कोण क्लेम नाही करत, माझं मत आहे. ह्याच्यावर मी बोलू शकतो पण ह्याच्यात वेळ लागेल. तिसरा एक आहे बिझनेसमध्ये, वेन एव्हर वी डू अ बिझनेस ऍक्टिव्हिटी, 3 टाईपचे एक्सलन्स असतात असं मी मानतो, की मार्केटिंग एक्सलन्स, ऑपरेशन एक्सलन्स आणि सर्व्हिस एक्सलन्स. राईट. नॉर्मली बघायला गेलं तर तिन्ही फील्डमध्ये एक्सलन्स पाहिजे, पण तिन्ही फील्डमध्ये एक्सलन्स घेतला तर त्या कंपनीचा ब्रेक इव्हन वाढतो आणि ती कंपनी फेल होते, असं एक कॅल्क्युलेशन सांगतं. बिकॉज ब्रेक इव्हन इज गो अप, यू कॅनॉट रिड्यूस द प्राइस ऑर समथिंग. त्यामुळं माझं असं म्हणणं आहे, मला असं वाटतंय किंवा हा स्टडीने मी सांगतो आहे की ह्या 3 पैकी एकामध्ये एक्सलन्स पाहिजे आणि 2 मध्ये ॲडिक्वेसी पाहिजे. यू रिक्वायर टू थिंक युअर सेल्फ इन युअर बिझनेस. आम्हीही करतो. कुठलाही बिझनेस पुढे जाताना ह्याच्यामध्ये मार्केटिंग एक्सलन्स आपल्याकडे आहे का, का सर्व्हिस एक्सलन्स आहे, का ऑपरेशन एक्सलन्स आहे. राईट. ह्याच्यावर मी थोडंसं मी सांगेन तुम्हाला, कारण हा भयानक इम्पॉर्टंट फॅक्टर आहे. तुमच्यातल्या ज्या काही कंपन्या तुम्ही आता चालवताय, तुमचं जे प्रोडक्ट आहे त्या प्रोडक्टवर तुम्ही एकदा विचार करा की कुठल्या एक्सलन्सवर तुम्ही काम करता. ह्याचा अर्थ असा नाही की दुसरे 2 जे राहिलेले एक्सलन्स आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये एक्सलन्सही घ्यायची गरज नाही, ॲड्युकेसी पाहिजे. एकदमच सोडून द्यायचं नाही, ॲड्युकेसी पाहिजे. आणि आत्ता जर बघायला गेला जगातल्या कुठल्याही कंपन्या त्याच्यामध्ये एका ह्याच्यामध्ये ते एक्सलन्स घेतात. इफ सर्व्हिस प्रोव्हायडर कंपनी असेल तर सर्व्हिस चांगली असते, त्याचं प्रोडक्ट थोडंसं ओके असेल तरी चालतं, पण ते सर्व्हिसच्या मागं मग हे करतात. जस्ट लाईक एक्झाम्पल ऑफ इंडिगो. इंडिगो इज सर्व्हिस प्रोव्हाइडिंग कंपनी. त्यांचं एकच एम आहे, एकच विजन आहे, टाईमवर पाठवणे. मग ते नाश्ता चांगला देतात का? कधीच मला नाही वाटत कुणाला आवडत असेल इंडिगोचा नाश्ता. पण तरी सुद्धा इंडिगो इज प्रॉफिट मेकिंग बिकॉज दे आर फोकसिंग ओनली अँड ओनली ऑन सर्व्हिस एक्सलन्स, नॉट ऑन द अदर एक्सलन्स. राईट. आणि हा एक फॅक्टर तुम्ही एक लक्षात घ्या की तुमची कंपनीतला एखादा प्रोडक्ट असेल, तो इंडियामध्ये तुम्ही काम करता, त्यावेळेला तो मार्केटिंग एक्सलन्सनी काम करत असेल, ह्याचा अर्थ असा नाही की सेम प्रोडक्ट ज्यावेळी तुम्ही व्हिएतनाममध्ये किंवा जर्मनीमध्ये करणार, तो मार्केटिंग एक्सलन्सच्या बेसवरच चालेल. जॉग्राफिकली सुद्धा सेम प्रोडक्ट कॅन चेंज their criteria. Means in India we are working as a marketing excellence, and in Germany or any of the country we can work as a operation excellence or service excellence. त्यामुळे नवीन बिझनेस किंवा नवीन ऍक्टिव्हिटी कुठलीही करत असताना किंवा आत्ता एक्झिस्टिंग तुम्ही जर करत असताना ह्याच्यावर जरासं माझी एक इच्छा आहे, तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी फोकस करावा की आपला बिझनेस रिअली मध्ये कशामध्ये एक्सलन्स आहे. अँड यू आर ट्राईंग इन ऑल द एरिया एक्सलन्स is not good for business, because you are spending, when you getting a excellence you have to spend the money, and you have to spend the money is affecting on your break even. And if is a break even is going in all 3 areas is not good. Right. And customer wants only a one excellence and his focus, and that is our USP. So मला एवढं सांगायचं आहे, जास्त काय बोलता येत नाही कारण 7-8 मिनिटं ऑलरेडी झाले असतील. ह्याच्यामध्ये अजून एक सांगेन की आम्ही कसं करतो, बिकॉज जर्मन एम्बसी बसलेले आहे त्यामुळे मी सांगतो की ज्या वेळेला नवीन टेक्नॉलॉजी आम्ही घेतो की नवीन एरियामध्ये जम्प करतो, त्यावेळेला वी आर टेकिंग अ हेल्प फ्रॉम युनिव्हर्सिटीज. सरांची कॉन्टॅक्ट्स आहेत आय आय टीमध्ये. इवन समटाईम्स आय आस्क हिम की आय आय टीमधनं, राईट, आय आय एममधनं, राईट. जसंच की जर्मनीमधनं न्यूमबर्ग म्हणून युनिव्हर्सिटी आहे, न्यूमबर्गमध्ये, त्या युनिव्हर्सिटीमधनं आम्ही ईव्हीचा बिझनेस 8 वर्षापूर्वी, आपल्याला काही माहीत नव्हतं ईव्ही काय आहे, कसं आहे ईव्ही माहीत नव्हतं. राईट. खरं ईव्हीमध्ये जायचं कारण पुढं दिसतं ईव्ही आहे. आता ते टेक्नॉलॉजीला R&Dला पैसे घालवायचा तर इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर SME. आम्ही बी SMEच आहोत, आम्ही काय मोठे नाही आहोत, छोटेच आहोत. आता 2 वर्षापूर्वी तर आमचा 500 करोडच्या आसपास टर्नओव्हर होता. सो टेक्नॉलॉजी घेण्यासाठी युनिव्हर्सिटी इज द बेस्ट ऑप्शन. राईट. यू कॅन टाय अप विथ द सम ऑफ द युनिव्हर्सिटी विच इज वर्किंग ऑन दॅट. त्यांच्याबरोबर टायअप जर केलं तर येस, मे बी रॉयल्टी, मे बी फीज, और मे बी समथिंग इज यू हॅव टू वर्कआउट, बट ते मिनिमल असतं ॲज कम्पेअर टू यू आर गोइंग टू पुट R&D सेंटर अँड एव्हरीथिंग फॉर SMEs आय एम सेईंग. राईट. इफ यू गेट दॅट टेक्नॉलॉजी you can do the prototype and then you will start the business in that field area. राईट. आता बऱ्याच जणांना असं वाटत असतं की आपण नवीन टेक्नॉलॉजी आहे, चालू कसं करायचं आणि कसं त्यात सुरुवात करायची, त्यासाठी R&D साठी पैसे नाहीत. ह्याच्यासाठी तर एक जस्ट सजेशन, इवन वी आर फॉलो अप टिल नाव द सेम पॉलिसी टू गो सर्च द युनिव्हर्सिटीज, attached with the universities internationally. India मध्ये पण IIT and all these things, people are doing fantastic activity, right? In particular field, whatever we are seeing in the screens sometimes is something miracles. But whatever we want to field, if you are search in all the IITs or 6 7 IITs, you can find some or other students are working on this, they are doing a study, you are getting a knowledge of that, right? तर माझी एवढीच रिक्वेस्ट आहे की तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी SME मधनं बाहेर पडून लार्ज स्केल मध्ये जावं, राईट? पुण्याचं नाव, इंडियाचं नाव आणि त्यांच्याबरोबर लागणारे आपल्याला हे. अँड सेकंड, सच साळुंके सरासारखे जे काय असे इंडो जर्मन किंवा अशा लोकांचा, इवन आज मी आल्या आल्या यांचीच वाट पाहत होतो, कधी येत आहेत आणि कधी आम्हाला विजासाठी काय मदत करतायत, राईट? रिझन, कारण त्याशिवाय आपल्याला बिझनेस एक्सपांड करता येत नाही, राईट? इफ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग अ विजाज, right? Visas, I am talking about the working visas and all these things. Then we can expand very easily. And embassy is the best option for us who is the foreigner is doing a business. And if German company, because we are interacting with a lot of German companies, all the customers from Germany, in India as well as in Germany, and not only in Germany, worldwide. From Germany is the base and then supplying worldwide and all the thing. I'm not going in the detail about all the customers and all these things. This is only just I want to say is 3 4 points. Just remember that points. And if you have any questions related to the SME and this one, if is a, I can able to give answer, I can give answer during the question answer session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful inputs. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Bhavesh Thakkar, partner EY India Tax and Regulatory Services, partner to speak on manufacturing in India, policy support from central and state government. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening to all of you, and thank you to Saluke sir for giving us this opportunity to speak. So yes, there are too many slides. Probably I'll request the organizers to send the slides to all of you so you can see in detail. There are 3 or 4 important points which I thought we should cover today. And one is obviously the whole MSME definition. After the June 20 change in the MSME definition, I guess many people are not aware that they are MSMEs. So that is also one of the first aspect which I thought would be very, very important to cover. There's a very important change in the union budget which helps MSME sector. As we are talking in the SME chamber, I guess it is very, very important for us to understand what is that change and how it will affect your payment cycle. Third is I wanted to cover just one aspect of the central incentive, which again I feel is very, very relevant, but many of you are not aware. And fourth is the state incentive, which we thought we will cover 2 or 3 states, but I'll give you the theme of what states are doing. And let me add, all 28 states in India have policies for manufacturing. And MSME is always a focus when we talk about incentives in India. So let's start with the first part, which is the MSME definition. So the upper part of the slide, what you see is the older one. Let's focus on the newer definition, which came in June 2020. Now, what it talks about, there are 2 criteria what we need to look at. One is an investment criteria and one is a turnover criteria. The second one is a turnover criteria. So who is a micro? Micro is where the investment is below 1 crore and the annual turnover is below 5. And you have a medium where the investment is below 50 crores and turnover is below 250 crores. Now, some important points what we need to keep in mind over here are, so if my my investment is 45 crores and my turnover is about 250, it's suppose 260 crores, you will not be an MSME. So if I breach one of the conditions which is there, you cease to be an MSME. But many of the companies are not aware of the nitty-gritties of this and they feel they are not MSMEs, but which they are. Let me take some examples over here. So suppose your machinery is, suppose your project cost is 45 crores and your turnover is 260 crores, you will feel कि अरे मैं तो 250 के ऊपर चला गया, तो I am not a MSME. Export turnover is not counted while counting the MSME limit. So if your turnover is 260 crores and export turnover is 30, then your net turnover, the domestic turnover is 230 crores, you will still be an MSME. So while counting that 250 crores, never count export while counting that kind of a definition. Now let's come to the machinery part of it. Let's come to the machinery. When I talk of 1 crore, 10 crores, 50 crores, it does not talk of the project cost. It talks of only the machinery cost. Okay. So if you say your land, building, plant and machinery is 55 crores, but your machinery is only 45, you are still an MSME. While we are counting the project cost, remove land and building from that definition. So it's only the machinery cost. And third, very important nitty-gritty out there is your definition of a machinery as per income tax or your normal accounting parlance is different from the definition of machinery as per MSME Act. So let me give an example: generator or conveyor belt or material handling equipments. You may classify that as machinery in the books, but that is not machinery for calculating this threshold limit. So please keep this in mind when you are looking at whether you are a MSME to start with. So the factor would be obviously the previous year's income tax returns, where you will have to look at this one. But it will be very, very important, because when we did a survey as EVA India, when we did a survey, I guess 50% of the industries were not aware that they themselves are MSMEs. Because MSMEs comes with a host of benefits, and I'll not get into each of this. There are easy finances from banks or timely payment methods, what we need to look at. But please keep in mind that MSME, the first definition, the technical one which has changed in June 2020, please go back, look at your balance sheets, that whether you are still an MSME and whether you can do the Udyam registration which is there. And there are a host of benefits, but one of the very important benefit which has come in this budget. Now, as sir said, the largest problem what we see in a MSME sector is they don't receive payments in time. So you always feel that you supply to OEMs or to large players and you don't receive the payments in time. Now there is a MSME Act definition. If you don't pay the MSME within 45 days, you have to pay interest to them. Within 45 days, whatever are your PO terms, आपका PO terms 120 दिन होगा, 90 दिन होगा, default under the MSME Act is 45 days, and plus there is a 15 days grace. So if you don't pay the MSMEs within 45 days, you have to pay interest to that MSME, which is thrice the SBI rate. And that interest, what the OEMs or the large companies pay, will not be allowed as a deduction to them. So we need to be aware of this provision. I will say 90% of the MSMEs will not be aware of this. Now what happened, this provision is there for the last 10-15 years. तो रियली इसका फायदा एमएसएमईज को हो रहा था? आई विल से द आंसर वाज नो, क्योंकि आप भी डरते हो एज एमएसएमई के अपन कहाँ भी इतने बड़े सप्लायर को हम लोग बोलेंगे कि पे मी विद इन 45 डेज, अदरवाइज आपको माल नहीं दूंगा एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. So this came by an audit report also, where auditor has to report whether MSME has been paid within 45 days. Companies Act, you have to file a 6-monthly return whether you have paid the MSMEs by 45 days. I'm talking of the OEM compliances or OEM or the large companies compliances. Still, that was not making a difference. What made a difference was this budget and what has been done in the MSME sector. Slightly confusing slide, but let me make it a bit simple for you. अब इनकम टैक्स एक्ट क्या बोलता है कि आप अगर एक ओईएम हो या आप अगर एक लार्ज कंपनी हो, आपने 45 डेज में एमएसएमई को पेमेंट नहीं किया तो आपको उस साल में वो खर्चे का ही डिडक्शन नहीं मिलेगा. So if I have not paid MSME within the MSME Act, I will not get the deduction of that expense, the whole purchase, not the taxes. So if I have bought 10,000 worth material from a MSME, I will not get that deduction as an expense. So when will I get it? When I pay it. So let me take a simple example. I hope the slide is visible to all. I'm not sure, probably will circulate. We have taken 4 or 5 scenarios out here. So which will make life simpler, I would say. So suppose the date of invoice of the MSME who have raised on the OEM is 1st June 2023. So due date of payment is 45 days, which becomes 16th July. Now the actual date of payment, what the MSME or what the OEM paid you is 30th June. So that is within that due date. Whether payment has been made within 15 days, the answer is yes. So your year of deduction would be FY 23-24, the year in which you have paid, the year in which the expense was incurred. Take scenario number 3, which is very, very important. The invoice date was 1st June 2023. The due date then was again 16 July. You paid the MSME on 10th April 2024, which was late after the end of the financial year. You will not get that expense deduction itself in 23-24. You will get that expense deduction in 24-25. So you will be paying 30% taxes on that even after incurring that expenditure for that year. Probably you'll get it at a deduction in the next year. अब आप OEMs और लार्ज कंपनीज का ये चीजों का चैलेंज देखो. दे विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट, आपके पीछे पड़ेंगे कि आप एमएसएमई हो नहीं हो. इट विल बी वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू गाइस टू हैव अ उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन. आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन लेके आपको कंपनी को कुरियर या मेल कर देना है कि दिस इज माय उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन, आई एम एमएसएमई. Now they will have to comply with all this. Their chartered accountants, their auditors, their consultants will have to look at this and comply whether you have paid MSMEs on time. And let me tell you, this will make a sea change. Now I am just expecting कि फाइनेंस बिल जब पास होता है इसको कुछ डाइल्यूट न कर दे ये लोग, बट अदरवाइज आज के दिन में एमएसएमई को जब आप पेमेंट करोगे उस साल में खर्चा मिलेगा, नहीं करोगे नहीं मिलेगा. So this, I guess, would be a sea change, and which I guess the central government should be lauded on this effort for actually helping the MSME sector. So first was the definition. Second, I guess this was a very, very important change. So please keep in mind, take a Udyam registration if you are fitting in that MSME criteria. Third very important part in which comes from a customs is when you import machinery normally, so I'm talking of import of machinery, they wanted to make India tax free on that part, on the import of machinery. So what they have done is, when you import that machinery, and here it is available to MSMEs, to large companies, everyone, and there is no restriction कि आपको कम से कम करोड़ रुपए का मशीनरी लाना पड़ेगा या 5 करोड़ का मशीनरी लाना पड़ेगा. Even if you bring a 20 lakh machinery, you will be eligible for this scheme, which is called mover. It is the manufacturing under bonded warehouse regulations, but the short form is mover. What happens under this? You import this machinery, you will not pay custom duty and you will not pay GST on that. So suppose your custom duty and GST adds up to 28% or 30% in most of the cases, you will be not be paying this. So your area will be demarcated, your factory will be demarcated as a mover zone. When the capital goods come in that factory, you will not be paying that duty. Is it a permanent exemption? No, it's not. When do you pay this duty? When you dispose of this machinery after 15 years, 20 years, depending on the life of the useful asset. Normally, any capital asset will come with a useful life of 10 years or 15 years, as the case may be. आप ये भरोगे 10 या 15 साल बाद में, and what would you pay? The one amount which you saved earlier, without interest and without penalty. It's a deferral scheme. So then technically, if you see the interest cost of money and obviously the diminishing value of money, आज अगर आप 25 लाख रुपया बचाते हो, 15 साल के बाद उस 25 लाख का कोई वैल्यू नहीं रहने वाला है. At that point, you will pay 25 lakhs. So very, very good scheme, friends. Please make use of this. There is no export condition क्योंकि आप देखोगे EPCG और ये सब schemes में you should have 6 times export. Mover में domestic भी आपका पूरा supply रहा, still you can make use of this scheme. This is also available for inputs, but that's slightly technical. But for capital goods, this is a one-time license which you will take, which is called a mover license. Then whatever procurement you have in your factory of capital goods imported will be sort of tax-free for you. So this is the third point which I thought was very, very relevant, which people should be aware. And fourth is state incentive. So let me tell you, friends, all 28 states in India and even the union territories have incentives. And I have seen MSME sector, to be specific, they have lesser awareness of these kind of schemes. And if you plan this correctly, almost, and this will depend on which zone are you coming in. Are you coming in the developed zone of the state or underdeveloped? What is the type of subsidy which is given? If I want to probably summarize, I will say 40 to 50% of your project cost can come back by state incentive over a 8 to 10 year period. There are some central also, but today's topic we will discuss on state. There are three buckets largely how India has been divided on the state incentive mechanism. First bucket is the capital linked incentives. So you invest 100, you get 30% back, 40% back as straight as a project cost, right? So you see Madhya Pradesh, you see Uttar Pradesh, you have Rajasthan, which give this kind of a capital subsidy, 25 to 40% of the project cost over a 6 or a 7 year period. So, sir, even your Rajasthan plant, the Mahindra World City, would be eligible for these kind of benefits for units coming out there, the Jaipur one also. So that's the first bucket. You have 28 states में से मैं बोलूंगा 7 या 8 states give this kind of a subsidy. The second, which is more prevalent, is the tax kind of a subsidy. What is that tax base? So suppose you invest in Maharashtra, suppose you are investing 100 rupees, they will say, depending on you are in Shirwal or you are in Supa, they will say we will give you 50 to 60% back as a capital cost. How will you give you back? Whatever taxes you are paying to the state government. So if I understand as VAT, it would be SGST portion. Whatever taxes I am paying to the state government will come back to me as a reimbursement. And there is no restriction on the end use of it, that whether I have to buy a vehicle out of that or whether I can use it in working capital. So again, a fantastic scheme where you can get 50 to 60% back as incentive. And Maharashtra, let me add here, friends, is the only state in India for MSMEs which is giving reimbursement of gross SGST and not net SGST. Let me take a minute there. So suppose you are selling 100 rupees, your GST rate is 18, okay, your SGST is 9 rupees. That's the gross SGST, if I want to say. You have your input credit on purchases, capital goods, expenses, which comes to 6 or 6.5 rupees. Take an example. You deduct that 9 rupees, rather that 6.5 from 9, and you pay 2.5 rupees to the government by way of taxes. So in our example, 9 rupees is the gross SGST and 2.5 is the net SGST, what you have actually paid to the government. Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Rajasthan, all the states give you reimbursement of net SGST 2.5. Maharashtra is the only state which gives you 9 rupees reimbursement because you are a MSME. How many of you are aware of this? Good, sir. How many of you are taking advantage? Great, sir. Great. That makes my life a bit simpler. So, on the limited time, I thought these were the 4 aspects I should cover. Obviously, the sides have the Maharashtra industrial policy. They do have the Rajasthan, where Mahindra World City plants are there, and it also talks of the Tamil Nadu MSME policy. So, with the limited time what I had, I thought so. These were the 4 important points which I thought I should cover. Sakshi, I request if the slides can be circulated to all, so probably at the leisure time on the weekend they'll be able to have a look at this. So I tried to cover 4 important points which I thought would be relevant for all of you. Thank you, Salunke sir, and thank you, Mahindra World City, for giving us this opportunity to speak, and open to questions later in the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Ute Brockman, Deputy Director General, Head of the D International Service, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, to speak on role of Indian SMEs for German OEMs. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Happy to see you all here. And yeah, I would like to get into a conversation with you this evening on Germany and India, and as mentioned, the opportunities that are there for Indian SMEs. I will try to be a good example to stay in my time frame of 5 to 7 minutes as allocated. I have to say also at the beginning, because Germany has been mentioned quite a few times, I hope in a correct contents by Gobind also. Yeah, that the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, actually, do I pass on the slides on the screen? Or cursor? Okay, so can we see that? Yeah, so the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce is has a long history here in India. We are active here since mid of the 50s. And by now have a member community of German and Indian companies, which comprises more than 4,000 companies, which makes us the largest bilateral chamber here in India. And we are trying to cover with our activities the whole territory. We have 6 offices now in India, one also in Germany, to make German companies aware of the opportunities on the Indian market, of course. And we are not just a private entity under Section 8 of the Companies Act here. We are mandated by the German government. We are the official representation here of the German industry. We have a bilateral board in our chamber. That means Indian companies as well as German companies have a say in what kind of focus we set, what kind of services we offer. And this makes us quite flexible and very close to companies, very close to the demands of the industry, in fact. This is just an overview on our global presence also. We have a wide network in Germany, of course, in the regions, and also in other countries. We try through India desks make India more known, the opportunities more known. At the moment, we have observed that there's a large interest, and a rapidly increasing interest by German companies to this market. We receive a lot of inquiries, a lot of visitors, German companies coming to our head office in Mumbai, but also to Pune, and the other offices we have in Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, and Kolkata. And this shows a bit the momentum where we are. Politically, this is underlined this weekend, as you might know. The Chancellor is in town, not in Mumbai or Pune, unfortunately, but in Delhi and in Bangalore. And he's not doing that as part of G20 or in combination with a visit to other countries. This is a standalone visit to India, which shows the high importance of India, of the market opportunities for German companies, and also of the support Germany would like to give to enhance the business relations, of course. This is a bit an overview of what the chamber is offering. I was mentioning, we do that actually bilaterally in both directions. Of course, still there is a focus on German companies going towards India, entering the Indian market. There is so far many more requests in this direction, but also Indian companies. I mean, you have mentioned it. There are quite a large number of companies already in Germany. And this shows that it is not a one-way road, which gives a lot more, let's say, a lot more profound cooperation and opportunities to the two countries' businesses. We can say that India is quite an attractive market from German perspective. we find here there is quite an interesting ecosystem in automotive, in pharma, in chemical, manufacturing, tools, machinery, well qualified young people, large number, a very dynamic market when it comes to recruitment. Also here in Pune, I've just visited two German companies of the automotive sector this afternoon, Brose and Marquardt. And both were telling about the conditions here in Pune that is really very encouraging. Yeah. There is just a dynamic when you come here to India. It's something that I feel. I haven't been here so long for now. Just arrived basically. I've been working in other countries for almost 20 years, and now coming here, it's a different speed. Yeah, also in comparison to other Asian countries, I must say. And we actually would like to inform a bit where the opportunities are for Indian companies. We see that at the moment there is an increasing demand for sourcing of metal parts, aluminium die casting, and also steel suppliers are in demand by German companies. In the key sectors, electronics, automotive supply parts, medical devices. There are ecosystems that are already very promising here, and we are actually ready to find business partners for you, German companies here, help you to connect. The topic of visa was addressed. I cannot speak on behalf of the German embassy here, of course, because I'm not representing the German embassy. There is obviously a big challenge that many companies are complaining about. There's already a solution on the way. So there will be more capacity, more staff will be hired. That is already decided. And there should soon be a smoother way to get visa. If in any way there is a short-term let's say, necessity to go to Germany, we do have a kind of supporting letter for members of our chamber, where we then help you a bit to accelerate the process. Otherwise, I think Germany, as I've heard, it's not the only country, where there's a bit stuck. There are others as well. So visa is always an issue. E-government, where India is by far more advanced than Germany. There we have to do our homework and look how it's done here as well. So I want to leave it by that for now. Just I'm very interested in what questions you might have when it comes to cooperation with German companies here. What experiences you maybe have? Are you already working with German companies? What are the challenges that you face? What are your product services? We have a very qualified team that can help you with that. If you send us your requirements, we can help you finding partners, matching. So I'm happy to support you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we are starting with the panel discussion, and I would request Mr. Chandrakant Sarunkhe to moderate the panel. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dipti. Hello, hello. Thank you, Uday, for your nice presentation. Let me start, ladies, as a ladies first. What is your suggestion to our Indian SMEs to connect with the German companies? Those are looking for contract manufacturing.
You mean what advice do we have,
How
or
how the SME can take advantage of contract manufacturing? Because SMEs in India they face difficulties to connect with many German companies. OSA is one of the beneficial for that, but somehow the manufacturing industries in Maharashtra, particularly India, they have a capacity, capabilities, and skill also to produce the quality product. So how, what is your suggestion to take advantage or particularly to connect with the companies?
it's basically, as I said, I mean, it does not maybe make sense to contact all German companies here. There are, I mean, there's many, yeah, especially here. I think Pune is really, there's a very high concentration, also in comparison to Bangalore and Chennai.
Whether your chamber will help for them?
Yes, of course. That's what I was about to say. So better than going around and checking, just contact us, but with very specific requirements. That is important, yeah, because we really put a lot of effort in. It's a profound analysis we make, and we are contacting really those companies that would match. Yeah, it is not our target to present you a list of 30 companies. This is not added value for you. So we go into detail. We have, as I said, an experienced team, and yeah, happy to do that.
Okay.
And this helps us also. It's also in our interest. It helps us to know where are the offers on the Indian side. Yeah, it helps us also to understand the Indian market better.
Okay. Friends, when any foreign company is looking for contract manufacturing, joint venture, or any other opportunity with Indian company, they look at 3-4 segments. One is your manufacturing unit. Manufacturing unit is which area, what is the technology you have installed, what kind of industrial automation you have taken, and how the excellence in manufacturing you are focusing more. Because sustainable growth is the most important. And for that, what you need? Proper infrastructure, proper services, research and development center, easily skilled manpower, and for focusing this matter, because German company will not shake hand with you if you don't have any all this facility. For that purpose, how we can give hand holding for sustainable growth, for particularly to explore the opportunity. I want to bring Rajaramji, particularly for the Mahindra's role, when you are providing not only just industrial land, but you are providing the value addition services for the sustainable growth of that company, especially for SMEs. What is your thoughts on this one?
Thank you, Salungaji. I think it's a very pertinent question. And we have found that when we looked across a lot of the industrial parks, not just the private ones, but also the government-based ones, a lot of companies struggle there. So when they come in, there's a lot of expectation, and each one of you all are focused more on your manufacturing than having to worry about whether you have electricity, whether you have water, whether you have access roads, whether titles are clear. That should be the least of your concerns. Your focus should be, how do I get started, and how do I accelerate, and how do I grow? You have the capability, you have, as you said, the skill sets and everything else, and you have the right product. So what is the other facilitating factor input that is required? And that is essentially land. And in the new context, whether I can actually create 4 walls, or I can create a shed, a manufacturing industrial unit, so that you can easily come in and plug and play. You were making a great reference to Suzhou on your visit. And when you now visit any of the Mahindra Origins or the World City, you would find a huge transformation. So when companies came in, including a BMW or a BASF, for example, you know, it was absolutely plain land. But what Mahindra offered and what really differentiates, and you will see that when we come up with the Origins in Bhor, is that you have clear land titles, you have STP, SWP, a great focus on sustainability. So we have renewable power powering up a lot of our projects. You have absolutely fantastic roads. You have lighting, you have safety, security, and you don't really have to struggle for electricity or for power. You just actually come in and it's almost a plug and play. And we handhold you because we have all of the operations and maintenance teams on site 24 by 7, right? So it's actually a plug and play. And I would say that we have now, and I've visited quite a few of the industrial parks. I think there was a reference also to Vietnam, and of course to China. And we would say that our industrial parks are truly world class, right? So when you come there, it's a completely different experience. And that's exactly what we want to offer to the SME colleagues here. When you come in, it's not about whether your requirement is 1 acre, 2 acres, 5 acres, whatever is your capacity. We are more than happy to welcome you there.
Good, thank you. Mahindra is always known for origins. Origins in the sense what? Confidence, quality, and discipline. And Mr. Oza, you have taken these three words in your presentation. What do you think that SME should adopt in this? All these three is most important. Along with this, what other three things can be adopted by them?
Actually, if I give you some extra, that is going to be a conflict on your strategy, because once we are doing something different, then is affecting on the your tactics or strategy, right? So, on the basis of what I found whenever we are doing internationally and something, if you people wants to do exports to any country, first is required to understand the culture, their culture, that what we are doing. So understand the geographical culture. Even in India, the south industry is different, middle industry is different, and North India is different. You cannot do a marketing guy from north is going to same guy can do in south, is not possible. So similar kind of thing, we require to understand the culture. Even after 6 years, still we not understand the entire Schengen culture, because Germany is behave like different way, France is looking different way, Italy is looking different way. It's very difficult. I'm just giving example because ma'am is here, but even in any of the countries, one is the culture is the most important this thing what I feel. Second point is what I mentioned in my robust business also, compliance, right? Whenever we do the business, we require to see how much compliance are there. Compliance means compliance on the, I'm talking about the legal and legal is the one portion, but compliance on lot of things is going to come in the compliance. Otherwise we are doing everything, we are establishing everything, and then one day we are slow down or we are going to waste tangent. This is a possible lot of times. And third, I recommend, even is a we are done a bad experience sometimes, right? What happens for the young people or SME or entrepreneur is having much more big talent on his head, and he's thinking all the employees are working same as he, right? But it's not possible, right? So we require to think in one direction, that whenever we take a new product or new opportunity, right, require to think about our employment, as well as I can suggest to do the market survey properly, because we are also spend years and years without doing a market survey. We develop the product and then we found, oh, this market survey or whatever is the market is not available here, or whatever market is available here is a require. Then I coming to the compliance, means we are going in the medical field, and then we found after doing all the R&D and all this thing,
there is a lot of compliances are required, lot of licenses are required, lot of approvals are required, and then we say it's better we can go back to the original industrial automation. So I'm suggesting all these 3 points is important for whenever you are going for the group.
You know, China, when I visited China, I learned from many Chinese entrepreneurs. Those are studied in the UK, those are studied in the US. They said we are focused first, the technology developed by the Europeans and West countries. We adopted that. We learned that. Earlier days, Chinese product we use on throw. Now Chinese product costly than Germans, costly than US markets. Even though I observed that they focus what? Three things: quality, quantity, and competitiveness. So rather our entrepreneurs should adopt that also. Quality, quantity, and competitiveness. Then only it is possible. So friends, when uh, friend Bhavesh was giving a presentation and he said about the definition of MSMEs. Are you all aware about MSME definition? Those are not just raise hand. ज्यांना कोणाला माहित नाहीये की डेफिनेशन तुमची डेफिनेशन म्हणजे स्मॉल अँड मिडियम एंटरप्रेन्योरचं डेफिनेशन काय आहे त्याची ॲडव्हान्टेज काय आहे हे माहीत नसताना फक्त हातवर करा हे सगळ्यांना माहीत आहे तुमच्या माहितीसाठी फॉर युअर इन्फॉर्मेशन आय इन्व्हायटेड ऑनरेबल प्राईम मिनिस्टर देन प्राईम मिनिस्टर अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी 2002 फॉर टू गिव्ह अवॉर्ड्स टू आवर मेंबर्स एंड ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम आई सेड इन माई स्पीच हमारे छोटों को छोटा ही मत रखिए. That means don't keep these small industries small. When we have to tackle, when we have to compete with the Germans and Italians and other countries, we are tiny, we are micro. नजर में दिखने भी नहीं इतने हमारे छोटे, तो हमारे कुछ रिकॉग्निशन होना चाहिए. So that आप कहना क्या चाहते हो? आपको तो पता है कि अटल बिहारी बीच में टोक के पूछे थे आप कहना क्या चाहते हो? And Mrs. Vasundhara Raje, she was a minister for SSI. She was sitting in front. मैंने कहा माता जी बैठी है, उनको माता कहते हैं राजस्थान में. मैंने माता बैठी लेकिन उनको कुछ आता नहीं है. तो एसएमई के बारे में उनको कुछ पता ही नहीं है, एसएसआई के बारे में. तो आप इसमें कुछ ऐसा कीजिए कि एसएसआई को रिकॉग्निशन मिलना चाहिए. Immediately in his speech, he announced that we can decide to change the definition. In 2002, this was discussed, and the madam took 3 years, and after that the government is gone. But PK Arun, when the Prime Minister Atal Bihari, the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji took over, immediately he has decided to change the definition. So that time definition. When Mr. Narendra Modi took a charge, and we have presented our definition was right. The recognition is not that 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore is not good. At least small industries should be a 75 crore, tiny must be 5 crore, and 250 crore for medium size. They have accepted my suggestion, but as a small kept 50 and 5 crore up to tiny. And I have also suggested to add mid corporates. At least mid corporate should be from 251 crore to 1000 crore. तो हमारे घर में कैसा है, बड़ा कमाता है करके बड़े का रिस्पेक्ट, छोटा है छोटे को कुछ समझता नहीं क्योंकि छोटे को ज्यादा ध्यान दे, बीच वालों का तो कुछ नहीं है, मिडल वाला तो बेचारा ना इधर का ना उधर का. वैसा मीडियम इंडस्ट्री का प्रॉब्लम है. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम medium size industry is facing small size or medium size industry is facing problem. So my suggestion is, how we can take advantage. This is most important. Now coming back to the Bhavesh, what is your observation particularly where SMEs are struggling to get advantage of this facility?
So, sir, largely I will put in 3 buckets if I say where I have observed the whole SME sector and especially with regards to policy benefits. So, first would be जो कैटेगरी है कि पता ही नहीं है क्या है, माने दैट वुड बी द फर्स्ट ब्रैकेट कि जिसको पता ही नहीं कि ऐसा कोई बेनिफिट है, कोई पॉलिसी है. सेकंड है जिसको पता है बेनिफिट और पॉलिसी है बट ये नहीं पता कि कैसे करना है. एंड that's the second bucket which I clearly see. एंड थर्ड, जो मैंने देखा है कि इतने सारे एक्टिविटीज और साथ में एक सिंगल पर्सन करता है, पता भी है कैसे करना है, व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स, बट ये झंझट करेगा कौन? सो दीज आर द थ्री, इफ आई सी brackets, what I see for a MSME sector: those who don't know, those who know but don't know how to do it, and obviously those who know but don't have the bandwidth to actually do it. So I'll largely bifurcate in these three heads, sir.
Okay. 1991, my father said we will set up industry in MIDC. So we had took a land in MIDC, Kolhapur, Shiroli. And RO has given order, आप ये जाके लीजिए. So I thought let us visit that place. जब मैं जाके देखा तो उसमें कम से कम 20 फुट का खड्डा था. आप बताइए कि इंडस्ट्रियल लैंड अगर लेनी है, MIDC में लेनी है, 20 फुट का खड्डा हो तो उस खड्डे में मट्टी डालते डालते हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर का काम बन जाएगा. सो पॉइंट इज दैट land is available in MIDC government area, but land is available in private industrial park. So Mr. Pai, let me understand, or let all these participants understand what is the difference if we have to go to the industry land for a particularly in a government, or why we should come to Mahindra, because Mahindra's role from beginning, quality, quality, quality. So what is your observation, or what is your services to industry, particularly SME sector, when they approach you?
You make a very valid point about the khadda, right? And so we have actually seen these khaddas in quite a few of these. I wouldn't really take a name, but several of the industrial parks that are in the government setup have this, have a lot of these khaddas. And khaddas, I'm just not saying from a topography, but a lot of the gaps which are there, whether it's in terms of approvals, licenses, electricity, and there are companies which have bought it because it was reasonably cheap. Companies which were promised, but they have not been delivered. So, which means that the MSMEs which have come there are still struggling. So, when you come to a Mahindra park, and I would really welcome, it's just not my saying, but when you come to a park, whether it's in Chennai, on your next visit, please come in and visit Chennai or Jaipur or Ahmedabad and see for yourself. What we offer is plain, flat land. You have very well organized and demarcated plots. You have stormwater drain, which is running alongside. You have electricity poles and lighting, which is provided for. You have electricity permissions and electricity available, water connection, which is there. So it is actually, the plug and play. And not just that, we have a lot of emphasis also on landscaping. So I'm not just giving you a barren piece of land, but it is landscaping, which is very pleasant. I'm giving the SMEs and my friends here the ability to take even renewable power, because there's now a lot of emphasis on that. As well as, so while these are the harder aspects, but in terms of, say, providing the mobility for employees to come in, we have, because it's a Mahindra group, we have Mahindra Mobility to provide the last mile connectivity as well. So we're also running buses through the city to pick up people. We have tie-ups with industrial institutes, which means that the ability to get skilled workforce is also there. So depending on the sector that you are in, you can always have a tie-up. So it's an all-round ecosystem that we provide you, so that you can just actually walk in. When you're signing the dotted line with us in our industrial parks, you're actually walking into a zone of comfort and high quality delivery to you.
So we should give a big hand, because Mahindra is not playing CSR, but they are providing the industrial social responsibilities. We can say that, because वो बोल नहीं सकते कि ये खड्डा वाला ले लो, लेना है तो ले लो, चले जाओ, because they want to give a quality. They want to give the opportunity to set up the industry, and the same thing we are expecting, because my members or entrepreneurs from India, they should get a proper quality services, level playing field on time, and especially for start the manufacturing. अगर 2-3 साल तक अगर पोल एंड पोस्ट होता रहा तो बेचारे का इंटरेस्ट भी खत्म होगा, मीनवाइल चाइनीज दूसरा प्रोडक्ट लेके आएगा और सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट लेके आएगा और वो आपको कॉम्पीट करेगा. Say one point I had to mention and to hear from Bhavesh. If we have to buy land in private or if we have to buy land in government, this thing, what is the special benefits you are providing for setting up manufacturing unit?
Sir, so thankfully, from a policy perspective, whether you buy land in a government land, whether it is MIDC or a Mahindra World City, or from a private developer also, thankfully, I will say most of the states do not bifurcate that on the basis of incentives. So thankfully, that's a good point to look at, I would say. So whether you buy anywhere, incentive would be available. Yes, there are some states which do that, but at least Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, or I will say the leading ones, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, don't have that kind of criteria. So incentives obviously will largely remain the same wherever you set up. Probably in the industrial policy, there may be some concessions on that land cost when you buy it from government, like a GIDC or MIDC. But otherwise, from an incentive perspective, sir, it does not make a difference whether you are buying it in a private or a industrial park or government recognized park.
Uh, as per my intention, particularly the level playing field and easy to run. So private park, and therefore that's why we have started SME Industrial Parks of India, where we are inviting the industries, particularly SME sector, to take advantage. If you are looking for ready-made industrial premises, if you are looking the industrial land, if you are looking any JV with any particular entrepreneur, those are having some available industrial premises or additional industrial premises where you can be a partner. So we are getting a lot of inquiries. Those are interested to, they can enroll with us. And particularly those are looking to set up new business and additional industry, they can approach Mahindra. So I think now time is to open the open discussion with you, particularly a brief question, a brief suggestion, and very, short recommendation if you want to give. Okay, think over. Meanwhile, I will ask Mr. Pai. Okay, yes, please. Speak loudly or take a mic.
Regarding the project in Bhor, does it come under some government zone, like where there are tax incentives and all there, where the current Mahindra project is there? Yeah.
Yeah, so we discussed that, sir, and probably so. If you look at Shirwal has benefits. Bhor, you will be bifurcating between a A and a C zone. So I told Paisap to exactly know me the village which it is, and I can find out whether that benefit is available. So there are some policies which are available zonal classification wise, but in some sectors like a food processing or electronics, wherever you set them in Maharashtra, you get that benefit. So there are certain sector specific policies also. But Mahindra World City, exactly, I'll look at the location and sir, we will probably inform the audience.
No, so so if you're interested, so we have a team here which is from Pune itself, so he can actually tell you the exact location, and we'll be working also with Bhaveshji, and we can tell you that. So right now we're in the process of aggregation, so that project when it comes up, we definitely welcome all of you to come and visit and definitely invest there.
Yes, please.
So you mentioned earlier,
Yeah, it's on.
you mentioned earlier that you would be even providing the cluster facility. Now, cluster facilities would be relevant to certain type of industries, right? So, then what is the plan of Mahindra to really cater to SMEs working in different sectors?
Right. So, this is right now at a conceptual level. But what we are also looking at, and that was the conversation also with Salunke ji. So he was proposing or mooting the idea of having something for the packaging, for example. So when you look at, say, even a place like Jaipur, for example, right? So Jaipur has got a lot of people who are in the handicrafts and gems and jewelry, and they are people who cannot really afford, say, 5 acres. So what we were looking at is maybe having a cluster of smaller plots and providing them, a designated area, which means that you have the skilled labor who can actually go in exactly to that location, and it also provides some kind of a skill development center. So we were also talking about, say, research and development facilities, which cannot be individually provided for because the investment itself is higher. So in terms of skill development, in terms of dedicated, if there is a specific, depending on the sector, if there's a dedicated requirement of water processing or sewage treatment plant, or for that matter electricity, that can be actually catered to for a particular cluster itself. So it has to be cluster by cluster. So happy to discuss that. If you have something in mind, we'd be happy to do that because we have land available at each of our locations. So if there is a cluster or a density of industries that can come together, we can definitely work it out.
You know,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Additionally, there is good amount of trust also on Startup India and the incubations that are required. So Mahindra Life Spaces be interested in that.
Yes, so we work actually very closely. Thanks for bringing it up. We work very closely with startups, and it was just day before, and yes, and with Invest India, wherein companies come in and project and pitch a lot of the startup ideas. And there is actually, happy to share that we have come across several startups that are providing very innovative solutions. So whether it is with regard to even building material, whether it is with regard to painting the exteriors or in thermal management, we are encouraging and we are actually associating with quite a few of these startups. So if there are innovative ideas, we actually evaluate them and we actually welcome them for. So we give them, say, a designated project. So for example, we have projects in Pune. We have there are 3 or 4 projects, residential projects, which are currently on. So if there is something innovative that is available, we're happy to partner with any of the startups and giving them something like a pilot. And if it works, then we can actually roll it out across the residential or even the industrial setups.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Thakkar, first of all, I'm quite impressed and I congratulate you for such a lucid presentation. And I really admire the analysis of 3 buckets, which in fact you have done for these SME entrepreneurs. And as Mr. Salunke said very rightly, the Honorable Prime Minister alone cannot do. It has to be a both-way process where SMEs also interact and they should take steps to get whatever benefits are available. I, in fact, would like to know now the new foreign trade policy, which is likely to get announced from maybe April or May. And there is one particular chapter is introduced, MSME exports. Will it be possible for you to share some benefits with regard to MSMEs in this policy, which are likely to come if you are available?
Yeah. So the new FTP actually expired on 31st March last year itself, which was extended further. And now we are expecting that to come in May or June now. So it will be a percentage. So this is called the ROTTEP scheme, where you export a certain product, and depending on your sector, you will get almost 1.5 to 1.75% of your value back as a scrip. So that's a benefit what you will get. What it will be depending on would be on 2 factors. One, whether your product falls under that sector which they are covering. So initially pharma and chemicals were not covered, but then they covered again. So that's the first test what you will have to look at, that whether your product falls under the sector. And the benefit depends on the basis of the exporting country. So if you are exporting to a Germany or a US, a developed country, the benefits are lesser. But if you are exporting to Africa or UAE, the benefits would be higher. So that's how largely it will work. So this will come to you by way of a script. So script is sort of a negotiable instrument which you have, and you can use it for your own import. Suppose you have exported 100, you get 2 rupees back. 2 rupees you can use at the duty against your own imports, what you need to do. Or if you are not able to use it, that's a negotiable instrument. You can sell it to me and I can buy and actually use that. So Probably you will be selling to me at 1.80, so I will purchase that at 1.80, the 2 rupees scrip, but I'll be able to discharge duty of 2 rupees. That's how it will work. So it will be beneficial for you also and for me also. That's how it works, sir.
I'm pursuing with all the banks that if any MSMEs looking to set up manufacturing unit, and if they are looking for industrial land and industrial ready-made industrial premises, bank should give 95% loan. And I had a discussion with more than 7 MDs of the various banks, from HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, even SBI, PNB, all the banks. And why I'm pursuing, because most of the entrepreneurs, they don't they can't invest that much money. So like 70% or 30% margin money, why will stuck up our capital? So bank should come out, because this is a secured investment, and secured loan will be there. And a lot of SMEs are not aware about the collateral fee loan up to 2 crore. Rather, I am pursuing for the 5 crore for the tiny and micro, and 10 crore per small, and at least 35 crore to medium sized industry. Because most of the medium sized industry doesn't have a collateral, also, but they do business. So that also I am pursuing. You said about the trades platform. When Mr. Raghuram Rajan was a governor RBI, I was one of the committee on that time. I said either you change the NPA norms or bring some new concept. So that at that time he took more than at least 1 year to discuss and the thought. They brought the trades platform. So all of all are registered on the trades platform, or insisting your buyer to register on that. That is most important. SME stock exchange is also there. See, once you will start growing, I know that you will start expanding your business, and you will definitely approach Mahindra for industrial land. So thank you very much, Mahindraji. Mr. Pai, or particularly, we will have a now discussion while drinks, because the barman is waiting for last 2 hours to start his bar. So we will have an interaction during that time, and hope that Mahindra is always providing the quality services, and I'm sure that this will be beneficial to all of you. And thank you for all participating in this today's event. And thankful to Ms. Ute and my friend Govind, and special Bhavesh. And let us give a big hand to the Mahindra for particularly providing the value addition services to SME sector for a better business growth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was really a wonderful panel discussions with the stalwarts sitting here. Now, I would like to request Mr. Anuj Bindal, Head Business Development at Mahindra World City, to give the token of appreciation to the speakers. Mr. Rajaram Pai, Chief Business Officer, Mahindra Lifespace Developers. A big round of applause, please. Thank you, sir. Mr. Govind Oza, Deputy CEO, Wipro Pari Private Limited. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bhavesh Thakkar, Partner, EY India Tax and Regulatory Services Partner. Thank you so much, sir. Miss Ute Brookman, Deputy Director General, Head of the International Service, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, everyone. Now I request Mr. Anuj for the closing remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? Thanks. So very good evening. As Mr. Salunke said, I will not stand between the bar and the people, for long. But very good evening, everyone. And I would like to firstly thank my distinguished panelists and the delegates present here. I would also like to thank the team from SME Chamber, especially Mr. Mahesh, Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Sakshi, and the entire team, of course, under the guidance of Mr. Salunke. I would also like to thank, it's always, also good to thank, your own team who has worked hard along with the other people, and the entire MWC team, which is here. So maybe, I will also ask my colleagues to raise a hand as I say their name. Anurag on the left, Aditya, Sandeep,
Mukul, here on the table, Amit and Anurag. Guys, if you can raise the hand. Thank you so much. So I think we had a great, insightful session. I thought I will recap some of the conversation, but I think it may not provide that much of a justice because we had some very insightful discussion. But I think, as a whole, if I really talk about, I think the entire panel is a confluence of representative from policy advocacy, consultancy, industrial infrastructure, trade, and large industry, which is basically, you can say is like a magic potion for any industry to really seek guidance and look at growth. So, the whole idea and objective of doing such event was one, we could provide some insightful information about how we can help you grow, and there is some kind of an data points which are available, which many a times, we are not able to have access to. And of course, as Mahindra, how we can provide a right kind of an infrastructure which can enable you with faster time to market because time is money. So that's the whole idea. And with this, I would like to thank everyone. And we would like you to join us for the drinks and dinner where we can discuss more at length. Thank you.
Friends, Oja Sahab has started his career from Sangli district. So I know most of the entrepreneurs sitting here, they must be having friends, relatives, and so many, group or friend circle. Always I heard that there is no industrial land, there is no industrial land is easily available, affordable level. Why I'm telling again and again? Because we want to enhance the manufacturing units. We want to encourage the new entrepreneurship. So best way you suggest them, there are plenty of land is available in India and Maharashtra also where they can start manufacturing unit. There only we can compete with China or other countries. And I'm sure that German company will come here more. Thank you. Let's join the drinks.